Expected to return to the lineup tonight against the Mavericks. First time since Valentine's Day with a calf strain, Achilles issues, tendinosis in his right leg. If he plays, and he does expect to, this will be his first game playing without LeBron this season. So, Matt, what are your expectations for AD tonight and Saturday night? Because these teams are going to meet again on ABC, 8:30 Eastern. When they face each other, you got Luka and the Mavs, AD, but no LeBron.
Not high expectations from a standpoint of we know how great AD is. Right now, I think it's about coming back, getting his wind, getting bumped around a little bit, reacting, because a lot of times with the injuries, when you're going through rehab, everything is kind of premeditated. Like, I know I'm going to have to cut here. I know I'm going to have to cut here. The game is going to be live action, so he's going to have to actually react to situations, and I think that's what a lot of people want to see. But I'm sure he's on a tight minute restriction, and my whole thing with this team is as long as they're healthy, doesn't matter what seed they are, they're going to be one of the favorites. And like I said, I just think AD is going to come back and try to get some sort of rhythm and win tonight. And, don't expect crazy numbers because it's not that time yet.
Yeah.
Rachel, I cannot stress how important these two games are. It's not a coincidence that AD's coming back for these games in Dallas. If they even win one out of these two, I think they feel pretty good about avoiding the play-in tournament.
Right.
But if they drop both these games to Dallas, you can go from the 5th seed to the 7th seed real fast. And Dallas is the team chasing you.
I was going to say, they're very important to Dallas, too, because Dallas, as we heard from Luka Doncic and from Mark Cuban, apparently not very interested in being in the play-in tournament. So it's going to be a war, these two games,
but
right?
I'm scared to death if worst case scenario, they'll happen to lose and be a play-in tournament, and then they're a 7th or 8th seed with Utah or Phoenix at the top. I'm scared to death if I'm those teams because, like I said, a healthy Laker team is the best team in the West.
Yeah, I guess, but in a one-night scenario or two, you never know. We see it in the NCAA tournament, right? That when it's only one game to get in or maybe even 2 wins to get in, then it becomes a little bit more rocky. We will keep track of that. But coming up later in this show, the back cover, let's start here. The back cover of the New York Post, not for the faint of heart. Having a bad day, they'll make it worse.
Right.
Having a conflict, they'll rile it up. And I'm not even going to get into the Post cover after the big press conference Tom Brady gave during the whole Deflategate thing. You people have Google. You can look it up. This is a family show. But while New York's tabloids may often be merciless, when they do give their seal of approval, it means something. And so it was nice to see this morning's great headline commemorating the Knicks' longest winning streak since 2014. Something genuinely wonderful is happening with this team. And part of it is just what we've been talking about all season. After spending so long as one of the most poorly run organizations in sports, the Knicks are actually a functional franchise now. But it is more than that. It's the way this team is winning, with that kind of effort that has made them one of the strongest defensive teams in the league, with execution and cohesion that allows them to often be greater than the sum of their parts. No, this team does not have 2 MVPs like the one across the East River, but they do have players who are pushing the boundaries of how to be their best selves, most notably Julius Randle, whose expansion of his game from distance has fueled what has been a remarkable career resurgence. Coming into this season, Randle's career average from behind the three-point line, 29.5%. This year, 41%, one of the most notable single-season jumps in league history. Honestly, it's extremely rare for players to make any sort of jump of that magnitude in their 7th seasons. Usually by that point, a player has had so many chances to grow that if they haven't done it already, they're just not gonna. But of course, nothing about this past year and a half has been usual for anybody. And when the NBA shut down last March and Randle didn't find himself playing again for 9 months, he used the time to relentlessly rework his game. So it was fitting that on his way to dropping 40 last night in an OT win over the Hawks, Randle's first shot of the night was a step-back 3. He only looked better from there, and he got a little help from Elfrid Payton here. Take a look. Right? He looks at the bench before the pass, right? He looks at the bench even before it goes in the hoop.
I love that. There's confidence in your teammate. Him and Derrick Rose are playing great together, too.
Derrick Rose, vintage floaters there, and a 6-for-6 run in the second quarter. Still, the Hawks proved just as gritty last night, and even an injury scare to Trae Young didn't slow them down much. Watch Young being helped off the court here with an ankle sprain, and we're going to get an update from Young himself when he stops by the show a little bit later. But even last night, we got the news that it was not a major injury. Here was Young's tweet after getting his ankle scanned, quote, "God had my back with this one. We be back soon. We move." Meanwhile, as Young was getting treatment, the game went into overtime, and that's when Randle again powered through the Knicks. This is a nice 3 and a nice pass there, too, to help seal the game. It's notable Randle has remained able to play so well at the end of games, considering this is a Tibbs team, which means Randle is leading the league in minutes. And it's also notable that with the win last night, the Knicks are now sitting in the East 4 spot, giving them home court advantage in a potential first-round playoff matchup. Even the tabloids agree. What's possible for this team just keeps skyrocketing. Get ready for some fun back covers in the months ahead. All right, so Matt, does Julius Randle make your All-NBA cut because you are looking at a competitive court?
Yes, he's been playing great. Probably the most improved player in the game. I don't know if he makes All-NBA, but he's right there, definitely second team. I love his ability to expand his game and really kind of spread his wings. You know what I mean? In LA, I saw flashes. In New Orleans, you saw some more flashes, and all those flashes are kind of starting to turn into fireworks now. And you definitely got to credit Tibbs for empowering him. And this kid's a monster, man. I love to see the growth.
You know, he wrote a story in the Players Tribune a little while ago, Rach, where he talked about, I don't think I knew what went into being the number one option on a team until this year. And it's not just about, okay, I got to be the guy, I got to score every night. It's, I got to do all the other things that go into leading a team. And I think he's really done that this year. Remember his history, though. He was the consolation prize for the Knicks. They did not get Kevin Durant, and they didn't get Kyrie Irving. They didn't even get a meeting with Kawhi Leonard. They decided to fly out to Los Angeles and kind of realizing they weren't going to get any of the three guys. They make an offer to Julius Randle, and this is what's interesting about this contract he signed. His contract for next year is not even fully guaranteed. Only $4 million of his contract is guaranteed. They have a pickup date in this summer, July and August, where they can decide to pick up their full $20 million. They also have some bonuses he has to hit, but that's what they thought of him when they signed him. Now, some of that was positioning themselves to have enough free agency room in free agency. But I think he's played so well. Like, he can do a 4-year, $100 million extension this summer. If they offer that to him, is he your number one guy or is he your number two guy? I think he's played so well, you actually have to have that conversation. Now, maybe you don't need to chase somebody else in free agency.
That'll be a good question. I think that's a great question. I think he might need one more guy to ride with him, but I love what he's been able to do out there. Like I said, to have your team in the fourth position, Knicks fans aren't accustomed to this in a long time. So I'm happy to see. I think LeBron said it too, just basketball is better when the Knicks are relevant, and they're definitely doing a great job this season.
Yep, absolutely. And you saw that list with the front court players. It is a crowded field, but he is definitely making his case. And I'm not even asking about most improved player because I think he's got it locked up. I really do. And it's just such a great example of the way hard work pays off and that it's never too late, right? I mean, the feeling in the NBA so often is like, oh, we know who everyone is by year 5. Well, that's not true for basketball players. It's not true for all of us as people. Like, I mean, it's
a lot of it depends on your situation. And you see, and I brought this up before, but that Laker young core, they did a great job drafting. Those kids just didn't get a chance to spread their wings there. So you're seeing Ingram come into his own. You're obviously seeing Randle come into his own. Josh Hart, Lonzo's been up and down with injury, but Lonzo's actually spread his wings too. So a lot of the stuff that people want to give up on in 2 or 3 years because they haven't met some kind of expectation, a lot of it depends on your surroundings. And these guys have found good situations, and they've been able to show what kind of talented players they are.
Well, there are a lot of guys on that team that are fun to watch. Knicks rookie Emmanuel Quickley said that Coach Tibbs declared a, quote, blackout day for today and was considering revoking the players' key card access to the practice facility. He hopes the team will take a day off to rest. I just want to reiterate that. Tibbs is preaching rest. Ramona, those words have never come out of my mouth before. Has his success with this young team more a byproduct of him evolving as a coach or just simply leading the team in the manner that he feels is right on the day he feels it?
I think he's really evolved, Rachel. I mean, you saw him. We were always out here in Los Angeles. When he was off, when he was done in Minnesota and he had a couple of years to kind of think about what he wanted to do, he was always here in LA in Doc Rivers' locker room. He was traveling around the league trying to learn from other coaches, other programs and how they ran their operations. I also think you have to credit Leon Rose here. This is what happens when you have two people from the player agent world. Leon Rose, World Wide West. In that spot where they say they know what players want. They know what's important to players, and I think you could say that, but it's another thing to do it. And we talked about Julius Randle earlier. Julius Randle's agent is Aaron Mintz. Aaron Mintz worked very closely with Leon Rose when